the title of the opera is Idomeneo. He's my father, I'm his son, Idamante, and he's the king of Crete. And coming back from one of his wars, coming back to his homeland, he's caught up in a storm, huge storm, and he swears to the god of sea that if he and his men, if they survive, that he will sacrifice the first man that he will see on the shore. But unfortunately, the first man he will see, it will be me.
I think it's a special story about a man which tries to find his identity again. A man which has been for 10 years in a war. He's coming back home, he does not recognize in a way anything anymore, and everybody pushes him to behave like they think he should behave, to be a king, to be a good politician, to be a good father. Then of course he has this big dilemma from the beginning.
I am in love with Ilia. She's Trojan, she's prisoner in Crete, and it's kind of forbidden for us to be together, but love conquers all.
There's this moment when you say, oh my God, is he coming, should I stay or not? And then maybe it would be like, yeah, like reaction, and you just run.
Although it's a story that we might have heard before, you know, a love between two opposite sides, but that's not their story. This is a political plot, the religious also. It was also the will of gods. Through the eyes of a young girl experiencing first love, I think she has a very smooth acceptance of these conditions.
What they are going through is something which we see in many people all around, especially now when we see all people which are forced to move, and it's about wars and it's about questioning religions in a way. And in Idomeneo, I always ask me why they never question it, what actually this Neptune and the gods says.
And in the first act, there's this celebration for the return of the king and for Neptune. We thought it might be nice to have a piñata, you know, just like like in a kirmes, as a reference to an octopus, basically, as a sign for this water god.
I think it's fair to say that the later Da Ponte operas are more well known and more performed, but this is undoubtedly Mozart's first great masterpiece in the operatic canon. In a sense, as an earlier opera, you could argue, the last of the great Baroque operas.
So I think that one could hear lots of like true Mozart inside, like his own soul, his own torments and troubles that he had with his own father. I often sing trousers roles, because it suits my voice, lyrics mezzo-soprano. There is actually two versions. Another version of Mozart's Idomeneo is with tenor singing Idamante. But I think with female there is more fragility, more vulnerability. And this is what I think Mozart wanted to hear in the role, you know, someone who's not really grown up yet, who's trying his best to grow up, and who's very, very unhappy because he's rejected by his father.
And I think even as professional musicians and singers, we're often shocked in a nice way of how brilliant two bars of Mozart can be, and how it somehow underlines the dramatic situation and the human emotion of the minute. But this is a young man's work, and you feel the energy and the passion of this young man really throughout the music of this piece. Of course, we must remember the tragedy of Mozart is that he died such an extraordinary young man. Can you imagine what might have happened had he lived the same length as Gluck and had an extra 30 years to compose? We can only dream of how that might have developed, but at least with Mozart we have really 1,000 times more brilliant works than any normal human being would have the right to write.